White versus ITAUMA, let's go. Dillian White, a man trying to re-establish himself, re-energize his career, restart in some ways. But I have to say, the British media, now I understand they love creating narratives, and this is why, you should just follow me, and this is how I want to get in this field so I can fix all this. I can be wrong, right? But I try and be fair and honest, so like, follow, do all the usual stuff. But the way the British media have gone about building Moses Atama, and yes, what they've been saying about him is correct. He is running through all of his opponents like a freight train, but they shouldn't be doing it at the expense of his opponent. Dillian White is being painted as this lamb served up to get slaughtered, this, um, stepping stone almost for Moses Atama to just walk over. And I have to say, it's just really, really, really poor. And this is such a bad way. And I'm glad in the face-off, Dillian White actually pulled up Adi Oladipo on his prediction of or the way he spoke about this fight, and he had him backpedaling, so that was nice to see. So I'm glad he pushed up for him. He stuck up for himself. But his situation in this fight, well, the pressure is on him. There is no other way of looking at it. This fight is make or break, this do or die time for him, because the way you can look at it simply is, if he loses, what the hell does he do? Because I cannot see any fight out there where he can get himself back into good light and potentially build his career back up. This is it. There is just no other way I see for him, and it's a case of he's going to have to bring the best version of himself and be the best version of himself and fight in such a way where he's got a chip on his shoulder and be vengeful. I think going in with that attitude of, you're hungry to ruin everyone's show, because ultimately everyone's written you off. So if you come in feeling like that, it really, really show the crowd just from your attitude, your ring walk, everything leading up to the first bell. Make it a statement. What of his opponent, Moses Atama? Well, there is absolutely zero pressure on him, none, zilch. If he wins this fight, fantastic. He pretty much gets his feet in the door at, either a title shot next or one more fight before a title shot, probably with Joseph Parker. It all depends on what happens with Alexander Usyk and the belt. There's been reports that he is asked for an extension because he's got some sort of injury, so we'll see how that plays out. But if you look at the heavyweight landscape, there are only two other fighters who are in a better position other than Moses Atama, and that is Joseph Parker and Alexander Usyk. So, as I said, a win would pretty much get him right away in the door. But if he loses, no big deal. He's not even in his peak. There is absolutely no downside at all if he loses. It just means that he just has to, I guess, work his way back up into this position, which again, he has time. Time is the most valuable thing here, and he has an abundance of it. Call me crazy, but I actually like Dillian White's chances. Now, people are going to laugh at me, mock me, and say, Hamza, you're absolutely ridiculous. Maybe. Just maybe. But I think on paper, this has the real dealing, or this bout really gives me the feel of a really good fight. Now, it all depends on, one, if Dillian White comes in with the characteristics I was talking about earlier, and two, Moses Atama is pushed. These are the two things we need to see, I think, for this fight to be really, really good. Is Dillian White a new character? Is he a new fighter trying to really re-establish himself? And how does Moses Atama deal with pressure? Because yes, I have said previously that he hasn't got the experience, but I do also agree with what Dillian White has said, that he has a degree of experience, but the zero experience where he has is not being in the corner, back against the rope. And that's what I think we need to see. And I think stylistically, it's not exactly a terrible matchup. I actually think it's a very good matchup, because it's not as if Moses Atama is this incredible mover who runs around the ring and dances around his opponents. No, he'll stick and fight. And that might play to Dillian White. Now, obviously, I could be completely wrong, and Moses Atama could win and potentially knock him out. But I really, really like the way Dillian White has conducted himself, and I'm not writing him off. I give him a really good chance in this fight, but he just needs to play his cards right. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of upside for both guys winning, but more so for Dillian White, I think.